let me ask you something. And answer it honestly, not the way you think you should answer, but the way you actually feel. Have you noticed that after 40, something quietly starts to change? Your energy isn't the same. Your motivation feels inconsistent. Your body doesn't respond the way it used to. And the most confusing part, no one really talks about it. You're told to just stay active, just eat healthy. It's normal aging. But deep down, you know this isn't the full picture, because this doesn't feel like just getting older. It feels like something is slowly slipping away without explanation. And here's the truth most men realize too late. What happens after 40 is not sudden. It's gradual, silent. And if you don't understand it, you don't control it. I'm speaking to you today not to scare you, but to wake you up with clarity. Think of this as a conversation between you and someone who has seen this pattern hundreds, even thousands of times. Men who felt fine until they didn't. Men who ignored small signals until those signals became problems. And the hardest part, most of it was preventable, because after 40, your body doesn't just age, it adapts to your habits. And the habits you keep or ignore during this phase will quietly shape the next 10, 20, even 30 years of your life. So today, we're going to talk about what no one warns men about. Not in a dramatic, exaggerated way, but in a real, grounded, practical way. What actually changes, what still works in your favor, what can go wrong, and most importantly, how you take control before it's too late. By the end of this, you're not just going to understand your body better. You're going to see clearly where you stand right now and what you can do about it. Now, here's something important that most men overlook. Your body is not working against you. Even after 40, it's still trying to support you. In fact, there are real advantages at this stage of life if you understand how to work with your body instead of against it. The first advantage is mental clarity and emotional stability. Biologically, your brain becomes less reactive compared to your younger years. Hormonal spikes settle, and your nervous system becomes more stable. Emotionally, this means you're less impulsive, less driven by sudden urges, and more capable of thinking long-term. In real life, this shows up as better decision-making, stronger relationships, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. You may not feel as intense as you did in your 20s, but what you gain is control, and that's far more powerful. The second advantage is experience-driven confidence. Biologically, your brain has built stronger neural pathways through years of learning and adaptation. Emotionally, you begin to trust yourself more. You've seen failure, success, and everything in between. And practically, this means you're less likely to chase validation and more likely to focus on what truly matters. This kind of confidence is quieter, but it's deeper and far more stable. The third advantage is the ability to build discipline. When you're younger, motivation drives you. After 40, discipline becomes your strongest asset. Biologically, your brain is better at forming consistent patterns when you consciously train it. Emotionally, you're more aware of consequences. And in real life, this means if you decide to improve your health, your routine, or your mindset, you're actually more capable of sticking to it than you were before. The fourth advantage is resilience. Your body may not recover as fast as it used to, but your mind becomes stronger. Biologically, stress responses become more predictable. Emotionally, you're less shaken by setbacks. And practically, this means you can handle challenges with a level of calm and perspective that younger men often lack. And the fifth advantage is awareness. This is the most underrated strength. After 40, you start noticing patterns. What drains you, what gives you energy, what actually works for you. Biologically, this awareness allows you to respond better to your body's signals. Emotionally, it creates a sense of control. And in real life, it gives you the power to adjust before things get worse. But here's where the problem begins. These advantages only work if you use them. If you ignore them, the opposite happens. Because just as your body can support you, it can also decline quietly if the wrong habits take over. The first hidden problem is declining energy that feels normal. Biologically, testosterone levels begin to drop slowly over time. This affects muscle mass, metabolism, and overall vitality. Emotionally, you may feel less driven, less excited, even slightly disconnected. And in real life, it shows up as constant fatigue, lack of motivation, and the feeling that something is off, but you can't explain it. The danger here is not the decline itself, it's accepting it without question. The second issue is weight gain and metabolic slowdown. Biologically, your metabolism becomes less efficient, meaning your body stores fat more easily. Emotionally, this can affect your confidence and self-image, and practically, it leads to a cycle: less energy, less movement, more weight gain, and even less energy. The third problem is reduced physical performance. Your strength, stamina, and recovery start to change. Biologically, muscle repair slows down. Emotionally, this can feel frustrating, especially if you compare yourself to your younger self. And in real life, it often leads men to stop trying altogether, which only accelerates the decline. The fourth issue is stress accumulation. By this stage of life, responsibilities are higher: family, career, finances. Biologically, chronic stress increases cortisol levels, which affects sleep, weight, and even heart health. Emotionally, it creates pressure that doesn't easily go away. And practically, it can lead to burnout if not managed properly. The fifth and perhaps most overlooked problem is neglect. Not intentional neglect, but slow, passive neglect. Skipping checkups, ignoring small symptoms, assuming everything is fine until something forces your attention. Biologically, this allows small issues to grow into larger ones. Emotionally, it creates a false sense of security. And in real life, it often leads to late intervention instead of early prevention. So now we come to the most important realization. Nothing here is absolute. Not every man after 40 will struggle. And not every man who struggles is doomed to decline. It depends. It depends on how you respond. Your body is not a fixed outcome. It's a reflection of your habits, your awareness, and your choices over time. Two men can be the same age, living completely different realities. One feels strong, energetic, and in control. The other feels tired, frustrated, and stuck. The difference is not luck, it's alignment. So what do you do with this? You start by asking better questions. How do I actually feel on a daily basis? Am I improving or slowly declining? What habits are supporting me, and which ones are quietly working against me? Then you take simple, consistent action. Move your body regularly, not intensely, but consistently. Your body doesn't need punishment. It needs movement. Pay attention to your sleep. This is not optional anymore. It's foundational. Manage stress actively, not by ignoring it, but by creating space through exercise, reflection, or simply disconnecting for a while. Eat in a way that supports energy, not just convenience. And most importantly, stay aware. Don't wait for a problem to force you to change. Because here's the truth most men don't hear often enough. You are not losing your strength. You're just entering a phase where strength needs to be maintained differently. And if you understand that, everything changes. If you've been feeling confused, frustrated, or even slightly worried about these changes, that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're paying attention. And that awareness is your biggest advantage. Because the men who stay strong after 40 are not the ones who fight their age. They're the ones who understand it. They adjust, they stay consistent, they respect their body instead of ignoring it, and in return, their body supports them. So don't wait for a wake-up call. This is the moment you become intentional, because small changes now will decide how you feel 5, 10, even 20 years from today, and you have more control than you think. If this made you pause and reflect even for a moment, I want you to do something simple. Be honest with yourself. What is one habit you know you need to improve right now? Drop it in the comments, not for anyone else, but for you. And if this conversation gave you clarity, share it with someone who might need it too, because most men are walking through this phase without guidance. And sometimes one honest conversation can change everything. Take care of yourself. Your future is not decided by your age, it's shaped by your awareness.